What's good, everybody? This is Hayden THC representing the Mighty Mighty Bounce Gang, back again with another how-to video. And today, I'm going to show you guys how to register your songs if you signed up with our pub admin services. Let's go! Alright, welcome back, everybody. Today we are following up our previous video, which was showing you how to sign up for our pub admin services. And today, I'm going to show you how you can register your first song. So, if you haven't checked out the video on how to sign up for Publishing Administration, and if you haven't seen the video about how to log into our website, I would definitely recommend checking those out, because those will be really helpful going forward into this video. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to go to the website, bouncegang.com. Again, that's BOUNCEGVNG.com. Alright, so I am already logged in here, so you need to make sure that you're logged into your account. Which again we covered in one of the previous videos. So once you're logged in and you've signed up for our pub admin services, now you'll be able to access this pub admin account page right here. So if you just click on that, it'll bring you right here to this landing page where then you can now register yourself as a songwriter and register your songs. Cool. So right here, just kind of provide some basic information. So one thing to keep in mind, if you signed up with our pub admin services and you want to start registering your songs, one of the really important things you're going to need is you're going to actually need to have not only a writer's account with your P.R.O, which stands for Performing Rights Organization, so like BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, SOCAN if you're in Canada, PRS if you're in the UK. Every country and territory has their own, so you might want to check and see which one's yours if you're not signed up yet. And also, you will need to sign up with them as a publisher as well, because you have to have a publishing entity for us to administer your publishing. If you don't have either one of those, please hit us up and let us know, because again, that's something that we can actually help you out with. So definitely make sure to have that info. Whenever you're signed up with your P.R.O as a writer and a publisher, you will get something that's called an IPI for both of those. And an IPI is basically the number that lets all the societies around the world know, okay, this is the number identifying this writer, and this is the number identifying this publisher. So each person's is unique. And make sure to have that information, because that's going to be really key just to make sure that all of your info is entered into the right places properly. So another thing to keep in mind is whenever you're adding a song, also be sure to get that information from your co-writers as well. So that could be anybody who produced a track if you're an artist, or whoever wrote to it if you're a producer and working with a songwriter or an artist. Make sure to get that information from them as well, just because that'll be really helpful just to make sure that everybody's credited properly and that everybody's getting their royalties too. Also, some good info to keep in mind as well is you're going to need something called the ISRC. Now, fortunately, if your song is already out on Spotify, you can just copy and paste that Spotify link and we can fill that information in for you. If not, definitely want to make sure you grab something that's called the ISRC. Now, that's going to be generated either by your label or your distributor. The ISRC is basically like the digital thumbprint for your sound recording, right? So that way, anytime that there is a play on like Spotify or Apple Music or anything like that, or YouTube or anywhere else, that ISRC is actually a little number that's associated with every one of those plays, so that way all of those plays from all those different places can get traced back to the same song. So that's kind of why this is also important, just to make sure that you know, we have those identifiers and those numbers that all these societies need to make sure that your plays are being counted properly and that your money's being collected. So again, if you need help with any of those things, feel free to hit us up, because we can definitely help you get set up with that. So first thing we're going to get started with here is adding yourself as a songwriter. Now, fortunately, you only need to enter this info in one time, and we'll have this stored in our system, so then that way, anytime you register another song from here on out, you don't have to enter all this information again. So we'll go through this line by line. That way there's no confusion, and that way you can kind of know what everything is. So first things first is going to be email. You can type in whichever email you want. I'll use my public email. Here, we're going to use this one. Alright, and then what I would do here is I would enter in my name. Now this is actually going to be not your artist name or stage name or producer name or anything like that. This is actually going to be your legit legal name. So for me, it's going to be Hayden Coleman. Does this writer have an alternate name? So for instance, my legal name is Hayden Coleman, but I go by Hayden THC. So in this case, I would click yes, and my alternate name is going to be Hayden THC. Cool. So here is where you would select your P.R.O. that you have signed up with as a writer and a publisher. So for me, I'm with BMI. And so again, we have an option for legit like every single P.R.O. that exists in the world. So hopefully yours should be in there. If not, please let us know, because we've got quite a number in there. So now this next section, IPI right here, is where you enter in that IPI that I was explaining earlier. So this is for you as a songwriter, and you can log into your account with your P.R.O. and you should be able to find this. If at the end of the day, if you have trouble finding that, let us know. But most times it could be found whenever you're, if you go to one of your works that's already registered. You should be able to see your IPI show up right by your legal name as a songwriter. So has to be 11 digits. Some things that can kind of confuse people sometimes is I know different P.R.Os, like I know ASCAP a lot of times will show you like a 9-digit number, and other P.R.Os will show you an 11-digit number. So basically a lot of times if you see like a 9-digit number or even a 10-digit number, just add a 0 in the front of that just to make it an 11-digit number. Again, that's just kind of what's required and what's standard from societies around the world. So that's why we make sure that we have the full 11-digit number. So for this one, I'll just use an example. All right. So now to enter in your publisher and publishing entity name. So again, this is going to be the publisher name that you have registered with your P.R.O. In my case, it's going to be Hayden THC Coleman Publishing. Why did I choose a name that long? Not really sure, but I did. And so that's what we got to roll with. Same thing. So just like you have an IPI for yourself as a writer, you also have an IPI for yourself as a publisher or publishing entity. So again, I'm just going to, let's go backwards this time. Again, also has to be an 11-digit number. And a lot of times, just like the songwriter IPI, if it's a 9-digit number or a 10-digit number, just add 1 or 2 zeros in the front of this, and you should be good to go. So as soon as you've entered all that information in, you can hit add right here. All right, and boom. You are now added as a songwriter, and you don't have to worry about entering all that information again. Now, whenever you're ready to finally register a song, each time you want to register a new song, just go back to this page and click on this Add Song tab right here. So this now is where you can finally register a song. And so here you're going to put song title. So let's use an example. Let's say Fire Song 1. Cool. So right here, this is the name of my song, Fire Song 1. I'm going to enter in that title right here. If there's any alternate titles, definitely want to include those too. For example, So this song, I have Fire Song 1, and I have the number 1. A good idea is to add an alternate title. You can choose up to 10. But yeah, it might be a good idea, again, if there's anything that this song could go by, just to make sure, again, it's credited properly. So for this one, I'm going to do Fire Song, and I'm going to spell out 1. So O-N-E right there. So here we just have you enter in your writer name again. This is just basically how we, keep track and associate the right song with the right writer. So I'm going to enter in Hayden Coleman. Cool. So now it's going to ask if you contributed to the lyrics or the music. So, for example, if I just produced this song or was an instrumentalist on this song, I'd probably just choose music. If I had any hand in writing the lyrics at all, I would also choose that. Or if I was just a songwriter and didn't really have anything to do with the music but just contributed lyrics, you just want to choose lyrics. So for this instance, let's choose both. All right. The next option right here is going to be ownership percentage. So this is really important. Between you and all of your co-writers, the total of all of the ownership percentage combined between everybody should equal 100%. This is really important because if these percentages are off or they don't equal 100%, a lot of times different collection societies can see that and see that it's either not complete or that there's a dispute in ownership percentage. And in that case, what they do is until you let them know what percentages are correct that do equal 100%, they're just going to withhold all of your royalties. So we don't want those problems. We want to make sure you're getting your money. So definitely want to be aware of that. So let's say in this instance, I had 2 other co-writers, but I produced the song and I helped out with the lyrics. So I'm going to get 50% right here. So I'm going to put 50% in this ownership percentage. You can also put decimal points right here as well. All right, and so the next song is really important. Does this song include a sample? So we have no problem being able to register songs with samples in them. However, you definitely got to include a sample license. That way, again, it just makes sure that we're not, collecting on any money that should be owed to somebody else as a certain percentage or anything like that. Because we don't want problems. You don't want problems. That's a whole host of problems. I've worked with people who have had to change songs or remove songs or not release songs because there was an uncleared sample. So if he does have a sample, you just want to click yes, and then we have the option right down here to where you can just upload any documentation you have showing that you have the right to use that sample. So for this case, I'm going to say I don't have a sample. All right, so here is where you would add the number of co-writers on your song. So kind of like I said earlier, I said that I had 2 co-writers on this song. So here we go. So when you add 2 co-writers, now it's going to populate with their info that you need to fill out for each of their sections. So your co-writer name, let's say co-writer 1 is going to be Fred Johnson. That sounds like a good name. All right, and same thing, he's going to have an IPI as well. We're just going to do 00. Let's switch it up. There we go. And again, there might be a situation where your co-writer doesn't have a publisher and doesn't have a publishing entity. That's all right. Obviously, we want to encourage them to do so. And again, we can help them do that as well if you want to direct them our way. If not, though, because, again, I know for me as a creative, I know how that can be. I've definitely worked with people who don't have their publishing entity set up. So if they don't, you just check no. If they do, you can check yes. And then right here is where you enter their publishing info, just like you entered in yours when you registered yourself as a songwriter. So here we're going to go FJ Publishing. Guess that's going to be Fred's publishing name. Sounds good. All right, and his IPI, we're just going to do... There we go. That sounds good. And same question is answered above. Did this co-writer contribute to lyrics, music, or both? Let's say Fred only contributed to lyrics. He wrote the song. And for him, he's going to get 25% because the remaining 50%, we're going to say for this example, was split between Fred and the other co-writer. So speaking of the other co-writer, who's that going to be? Let's say this is Melissa. Hart. Cool. Melissa Hart. All right, and her IPI. Let's say it's this. All right. Same questions. Let's say in this instance, you know what? Melissa actually doesn't have a pub entity. So we're just going to check no. All right. So Melissa also contributed to the music and also contributed to the lyrics. So I would check both of those. And then Melissa's going to get that remaining 25%. All right. So this next field, this is ISWC. Now, you might be like, wait, hold up. Didn't you say something about this earlier? Didn't you say it was called ISRC? And you would be correct. This is the ISWC. It's pretty much the same thing as an ISRC, only instead of for the sound recording, the ISWC is like the digital thumbprint for the composition, which includes, lyrics and melody. So if you already have this registered with your P.R.O, your P.R.O will assign this ISWC to the song after you've registered it, and that way you can enter in this information. So that way we don't accidentally, there's not any sort of like duplicate registration or anything like that. That way you make sure, you keep your royalties and play counts and all of that set. So again, if you've already registered this song with your P.R.O, here's where you can enter in your ISWC. If you need help trying to figure out where that is or how to find that, hit us up and let us know, because we're down to assist you with that. All right, so this next section, is this a public domain work? So this is something a lot of people I know see public domain work and they're just like, I don't know what that means. I've never really heard of that. So basically a public domain work is any work where the copyright has either expired, been forfeited, or for whatever reason never even existed in the first place. So basically a lot of older songs, especially a lot of songs that were written like way back in the day. So like think like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, Silent Night, Star Spangled Banner. Those are some really popular ones. There's also a lot of Christmas songs too that are public domain works. So if you happen to be doing basically a cover or a new arrangement of one of these songs, here's where you would click yes. And then basically just need some basic information, which is the domain work title, and then the name, and then the number of how many original writers there were, and their names. So, again, not as much of a common situation, but again, if you are doing especially like Christmas songs or any one of those older songs, definitely something you want to keep in mind. For our example, though, we're going to say no. We're going to say, you know what, this is not a public domain work. This is a brand new work that we're creating and planning to release to the world. All right, so this next field right here, was this work created specifically for film, TV, theater, or a music library? This is another one of those questions where I know it could probably be like, what exactly does this mean? I'm not really sure. So music libraries are basically online collections of music, usually meant to be pitched either for certain placement opportunities for film and TV, or for artists, or other things like that. So if it's created specifically for that purpose, or you know what, hey, I got this opportunity to, score this movie, in that instance, you would create that music specifically for that film. So if that's the case, then you would check yes. Most times, if this is just a song that you're creating, planning to release, or a song that you're releasing as an artist or a writer, as a producer, chances are you're probably more times than not going to click no. But in those specific cases where you are, we just kind of basically need some information. So I'm going to click yes just so I could show you guys. So primary intended purpose, if it's for film, television, theater, music library. If it's for film, television, or theater, we basically just need the name of the production title. So if you were making music specifically for a movie, what's the name of the movie? Same thing with the television and for live theater. So, however, if it's for a music library, there's some additional pieces of information that we are going to need. And basically the name of the music library, library album identifier number. So if this is part of an album within the music library, just what's the number for that, that will be provided to you by your music library. So if you don't know what that is, definitely want to get in contact with them so you can find that out, and then what track number it is on the album. So again, for this purpose, we're not doing all that. This is just a song that we're trying to release to have all of our fans hear this great music that we made. So we're going to click no. All right, and here's where we add information about the sound recording. So fortunately, again, like I was saying earlier, if this song is out on Spotify, you can just click that yes button, and then when you do, you can just copy and paste the Spotify URL right into here, and we'll take care of the rest. If it's not, though, like let's say you're registering this and the song's not even out yet, not even released yet, because that definitely happens plenty of times. Then, if you check no right here, then it provides a couple more pieces of information we're going to need. So, some basic stuff like artist name, title of the track, is this part of a single EP or album? If it is part of an EP or album, we just need to know the name of the EP or the album. And then also track length and duration. So this is hours, minutes, seconds. And then right down here was that ISRC number that I was telling y'all about earlier. So again, this is the digital thumbprint for your sound recording. Definitely some super important piece of information right here to know. And again, if you don't know, there are actually ways that you can look it up. We actually have a link right down here for Sound Exchange for you to search for your ISRC code based on the artist and the title of the song. And again, that's a great way to look it up if you can't find it, because I know there's plenty of times where maybe you're not the one that distributed the song and you're having a hard time getting in touch with them to find the ISRC, or you're not even sure where to find that within your distribution platform. Totally understandable. That's why, again, this link is a really, really helpful resource to look it up. So then also, UPC, which is basically kind of like the code that you see under barcodes in like stores and stuff. Anytime you have a digital release, it actually has a UPC associated with that, so that way they can track sales. So this is just another piece of helpful information for us to have. Just again, make sure that we're tracking the right things, making sure all of the right numbers are getting associated with your song. Then label name, so if you are under a label, or if you have your own independent label, or even if you're releasing it under your own name, here's where you would put your label name right here. And then finally, last but not least, the initial release date, so the date that this was released to stores everywhere. So once you have entered in that info, you know what, let me enter this in. So for artist name, I'm going to put it under myself. Track title, again, it's going to be Fire Song 1. This is part of an EP single. You know what, this is a single. It's just one song. That's all it needs. So track length, we're just going to say, obviously this is not longer than an hour. It's going to be, let's say this is 3 minutes. 34 seconds. ISRC, we're just going to say it's AB 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, and UPC, again, the UPC is going to be 12 digits. So let's say for this. Alright, label name, we're going to say Hayden THC Records. Actually lie, you know what we're going to do? We're going to say Gvngaroo Records, because that's the vibe. Alright, and the initial release date, let's say I released this back in July. Let's say, you know what, this came out on July 17th of 2020. Cool. So now that we have all of our info, it's always good to double check, especially for some of these things with the red stars that are required fields, just to make sure we have everything. Cool, looks like we're good. All right, and as soon as you have all this info in, just hit add. All right, and that's it. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I know that this was definitely a long video, but wanted to make sure that we covered all the bases. So the good news is that once you have registered this song, you don't have to register it anywhere else. We get it taken care of for you. So we'll make sure that it's registered with your P.R.O. We make sure that it's registered with any other collection societies around the globe to make sure you're getting all of your royalties that you are collecting and that you are making off of that song. So appreciate it so much, guys. Again, I'm Hayden THC. Be sure to follow us. Be sure to like and subscribe. It's at Bounce Gang everywhere. So BOUNCE GVNG. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Reddit, on Instagram, YouTube. We're out here, man. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to hit that like button. And be sure to leave a comment. And let us know if you got any questions or anything like that. Always feel free to hit us up. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.